It's 5 o'clock. This is CJazz 92.1 FM, 104 on cable.
In the big leagues, the Expos beat Atlanta 8-6 as Gary Carter drove in 6 runs. And Douglas, that's a look at sport.
At 8 minutes after 5 at CFMI 101, where we are just going to float away with the Manhattans.
Privileged today to consider these words of assurance relative to the subject of suffering, how they're needed in our lives and how we need to understand why these trials and testings come. We urge you to send for a free copy of Richard DeHaan's complete publication, How to Get the Most Out of Suffering.
फिर लंच बनाई दिया 9 बजे घर आ जाइदा फिर आह लत्तां सुजियां लै ਇਹ ਆਦੇ ਸੁਜੀਆਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਸੋਚ ਪਈ ਆਦੇ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੁਖਦੀ ਆ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਫੇ ਆਣ ਕੇ ਪੱਕਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਸਲੀਪੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਈਦਾ ਪੈ ਜਾਈਦਾ ਆ
खेत में जो आप काम करती हैं आपको अच्छा लगता है
अच्छा कादा लगदा भूखे मरदे न करना कोई गोरा लोग थोड़ा जानदा गोरा लोग नहीं जानते ਸਾਡੇ ਵਰਗਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਲੋ ਕਰਿਆ ਉਹ ਗੋਰਾ ਲੋਕ ਤਾਂ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਚੇਅਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਰੋਟੀ ਛਕ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਬਿਲ ਫੇਰ ਤੇ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਬਿਲ ਫੇਰ ਤੇ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਣਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਲੋਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਬਿਲ ਫੇਰ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਲੋਕ ਹਾਨੀ ਮੰਨਦੇ
तो ये गोरे का सवाल नहीं है तो गरीब अमीर का सवाल है ज्यादा
हाँ ये भी हैगा फिर गोरे अमीर वा गोरियां दा ये मुल्क वा ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਮਜ਼ਦੂਰੀ ਕਰਨ
आपके लड़के
हाँ ये मेरा लड़का है ਇਹਨ ਵੀ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਮਿਲ ਚ ਸਰਬਨ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਲੰਚ ਮੈਨੂ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ
और आपके घर वाले
मेरा घर वाला तो बहुत ज्यादा मरिया आ तो उसको 30 साल हो गए मरे स्वर्णा 2-2.5 बरियां दा
तो साल में 4-5 हजार से गुजारा हो जाता है आपका
थोड़ा खा लेदा ਹੁਣ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਤੋਂ ਕੁੱਟ ਕੇ ਲੈ ਲੈਣੇ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਕਮਾਉਣਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੀ ਗੁਜ਼ਾਰਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਕ ਬੇਸਮੈਂਟ ਚ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਚ ਰਹੀਏ ਟੁੱਟੇ ਖੁੱਟੇ ਥਾਂ ਹੀ ਰਹੀਦਾ
और ये जूता किसका है
ये मेरे लटके दा आ
अच्छा
हां
यानी सरवान के लड़के
हां सरवान दे मुंडे दा आ निक्के दा
वो भी यहीं पे रहता है
ਉਹ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਫਾਰਮ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਪਾਣੀ 'ਚ ਲਿਬੜ ਗਏ ਮੀਂਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਿਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਲੀੜੇ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੋਏ ਆ ਲੀੜੇ ਪਾਉਣ ਨੂੰ ਜੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ
जब आप काम करती हैं उसकी देखभाल कौन करता है
ਉਹ ਕੋਲ ਖੇਲਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਿਛਾੜੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਢੂਈ ਨਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਕੋਲ ਮੋਹਰੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਫਿਰ ਭੱਜੇ ਫਿਰਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਲਟਕੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਨਿੱਕੇ
तो आपका लड़का स्कूल जाता है
1 ਸਾਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੂੰ 1 ਸਾਲ डॉक्टर बन जाए मैं तो कहनी
तो साल में आपकी कितनी कमाई होती होगी
कोई $2,500 हो जाता जी
2,500 साल में
हाँ जी ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ $15-16 ਬਣਦੇ ਮਸੀ 10 ਘੰਟਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਕਿਉਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਵਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਕੋਈ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਹੁਣ ਇਦਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਲੱਤ ਟੁੱਟ ਜਾਏ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਬਾਂਹ ਟੁੱਟ ਜਾਏ ਕੋਈ ਤਿਲ ਕੇ ਡੇਪਾ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੁੱਛਦਾ
They want all the protections as a working man does, compensation, unemployment insurance. When I was a kid picking berries, I never got no gas allowance, no compensation or anything like this. You don't need compensation to pick berries. I've never heard of anybody yet straining their back picking berries. It's not the best job in the world, but it's a good job for kids to learn how to work for somebody else.
What about the people who are not kids?
Majority are over the age of 65, or it's wives, and they got their little kids out there picking that's under the age of 8, 9 years old. It's majority of kids working, and you get a few mothers that's working with the kids. It's a good experience. The mothers get closer to the kids out in the field. They talk a little bit freer when they're working with them. But the mother don't want to pay union dues for herself and for the kids. It's not there. They won't do it.
Members of the Farm Workers Organizing Committee met with provincial labor officials today to press their demands for new legislation that will allow them to become a union. Bob Gillingham reports.
The group first made their presence known last year when they organized a picket line of more than 200 East Indian raspberry and strawberry pickers to protest working conditions at Muktair growers in Clearbrook. The workers claimed that the farm owner had withheld their pay, made them pick berries under intolerable conditions, and called them names. They're now asking the provincial government to enact legislation that will guarantee them the same rights as other organized workers. Their brief also calls for the complete abolition of the farm contracting system. That is, doing away with the middleman, who they say takes more than 33% of the farm workers' wages.
80% of the 12,000 farm workers in British Columbia are East Indians, 10% Chinese, and the rest mainly migrants from Ontario and Quebec. Labor contractors, generally of the same ethnic origin as the workers, transport them to the fields, supplying the farmer with a steady source of cheap labor. Payment is made through the contractor, who extracts his commission in the process. There are no toilets in the fields, no running water in the overcrowded cabins where many workers are housed, and no daycare for their children. These are the conditions that have persisted for generations.
From India, from pre-liberated China, and from other colonized countries, our people came to this land at the beginning of this century. Many were denied entry because of the color of our skin. But some of us got in. We asked for work, we were given slave wages. We asked for dignity, we were racially abused. To this day, the government has broken every promise to cover us under the minimum wage and other such acts. Today, we have an opportunity to advance our struggle.
The votes in favor. Okay, Mirwani. It seems to be nobody is against this motion. The Constitution of the Canadian Farmworkers Union is adopted. Thank you.
We have a new banner.
We have worked hard, and today we have our union, first time in the history of Canada.
Did you get one of these? No. To celebrate the founding of the Farm Worker Union? You know, we want the Chinese farm workers also to join the union. Oh. Have you heard about the Farm Worker Union?
Oh, sorry, I can't speak English.
Okay, that's why it's in Chinese.
Okay.
What you spraying there?
I don't know.
You don't know what you're spraying?
Well, I didn't really ask.
You know you're spraying against the wind. The spray will come in onto you. You should have glove and mask on you. I have some leaflet to give it to you. Could you come down here, please? I'm from the Canadian Farmworkers Union.
My name is Sarvan. What's your name?
Nene.
Nene?
ਨਹੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਹੈ ਫਾਰਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੇ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹਫਤੇ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਅੰਦਰ ਜਾਨੀ ਯੂਨੀਅਨ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਮਿਲ ਜੂ ਤੇ ਜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੀ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਮੀਦ ਪੂਰੀ ਆ ਜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੀ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਲੈਣਾ ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਜਾਨੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਟਰੈਂਥ ਤੇ ਆ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਵੱਧ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਬਣਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕੰਮ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਜਾਓ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕੰਮ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਜਾਓ ਪਰ ਜੇ ਯੂਨੀਅਨ ਕਹਿ ਦੇਵੇ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਮੌਕਾ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਆ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਲਈ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਅੜ ਜਾਓ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਫਿਰ ਗੱਲ ਬਣਨੀ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਜੀ ਬਣਾਈਏ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬਣਨਾ ਭਾਈ ਆਪਾਂ ਲਾਜ਼ਮੀ ਬਣਨਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਣੋ $5 ਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਅੱਛਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਨਾਮ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਉਦੋਂ ਰੋ ਕੀ ਥੋੜਾ ਸਪੈਲਿੰਗ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਲਿਖਦੇ ਲਾਸਟ ਨਾਮ ਦੇ ਸਪੈਲਿੰਗ ਮੈਂ ਅਨਪੜ੍ਹ ਆਦਮੀ ਮੈਂ ਲਿਖ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਅੱਛਾ ਲਿਆਓ ਲੈ ਇੱਥੇ ਲਿਖ ਲਓ ਇੱਥੇ ਲਿਖ ਲਓ 10 ਕੁ ਕਰ ਲਓ
Viva la causa! Viva la causa! Viva la causa! Let's welcome Brother Caesar Chavez.
Thank you very much. I wanted to start by showing you how we do the applause in our union. We do it organized because it sounds better. Let me show you. You follow me, okay? Yo, no huelga! Things, when they're organized, they're better for you and me, always. If there's anybody here that's going to go back and tell the growers what happened here tonight, or if there's a grower here, or if they're listening to us, here's some good, sound advice, Mr. Grower. Negotiate with the Canadian Farmworkers Union right now before you make the same mistake the California growers made, and then that you're going to see really what it means organizing a union and having the power to force you to sign contracts. You know, Canada, the United States produce a great abundance of food. Sometimes they leave food to rot in the fields so that the price won't come down. But you know, the men, women, and children who plant the seed and cultivate the plant and harvest the product many times have no food for themselves. Mr. Grower, recognize that we're human beings. We'll get along okay. Mr. Grower, don't go around telling the rest of the public that I am a very good person because I give the farm workers jobs. I do them a favor because the workers don't have any skills. Don't kid yourself. There's a lot of skill in farm labor. There's a lot of skill in farm labor.
ਪੈਸੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਪਾਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਨੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ 6 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਮਗਰੋਂ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ ਮਨੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ 6 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਕਿਸ਼ਨ ਬਾਲੀਆ ਸੀ ਉਹਨ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਨੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਨਾ ਫਿਰ ਉਸਕੇ ਘਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬਹਿ ਗਈ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਝੂਠੀ ਚੈੱਕ ਦੇਤੀ ਜਦ ਮੈਂ ਬੈਂਕ ਕੋ ਗਈ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬੈਂਕ 'ਚ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡਾ ਥੋੜਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ ਵਾਸਵਾ ਜੇ ਇੱਕ ਜਣੀ ਅੜਦੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਤੇ 10 ਹੋਰ ਨਿਕਲ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਕਹਿਣ ਮੈਂ ਜਾਣਾ
Our problem is we have a union. I mean, the union doesn't have any certification, doesn't have any contracts. Our first priority has to be to get as many members as possible. Secondly, how do we keep this membership together? You know, it could be a problem with immigration. You know, they have to get legal advice. And we can tell people, you know, there is a free legal advice for members and they can come to the office and get it. We should think of services we can provide to our membership, even if we do not have jobs for them at this moment.
In the peak season, farm workers work 10 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. They are not paid an hourly wage as the union demands, but according to the amount they pick. As the season progresses and the crop thins out, they work harder and harder to make less and less. And even from this meager wage, the labor contractor is ever present to exact his toll.
Okay. Any contract no make too much.
Just for living.
Too much headache. I don't like.
What is the main problem that you would see with the union?
You can union in the farm. No way.
Why?
How? How we union? The rainy day they stop. He said no. We get to pay for you guys without do anything. No.
So they would want wages guaranteed. Is that?
Yeah. Then you suffering.
And
I don't care. We just charge you guys more. Who pay?
At Drydigger Farms, the union has been on the verge of signing its first contract. But at the last minute, Drydigger backs out and signs an agreement with the labor contractors instead.
Okay then, so this agreement is being made between Drydigger Farms Limited and Anand Farm Labor Contracting.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to it, or?
Some farmers pay gas, mileage, gas for the...
Oh, you want to throw in some free gas in that, do you? Okay, I'll give you free gas for your vehicle.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, we'll see you in a few weeks when we start doing our heavy labor.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Okay. Take care of yourself.
Hope you will. Thanks very much.
And then afterwards, he comes and he says, I'm a free enterpriser. If he was free enterprise, why did he start negotiating with us?
He was collecting information. That's all he was doing for the
intelligence gathering for the farmers. He never bargained in good faith. He never did. We had our doubts, but he played along very well. And he knew what he was doing. He was just agent of the big farmers and the BCFA and other agents of the government. We ought to call a meeting of our membership. Then, we can get their opinions as to what we should do. Well, there's definitely going to be some confrontations if it gets in any type of a radical type of action. The farmers are simply hiring the people. There's no reason that the union has to get militant or anything like that. We're all willing to improve conditions, but at the same time, we're not willing to lose that freedom of having a union on the farm and having one man dictate to you and having one man control all your labor. The way it works right now is a free enterprise system where the farmers can hire whichever contractor they feel, or the contractor can go to whichever farmer he wants, and the people can work for any contractor they want. It's a very happy-go-lucky thing. If you're being mistreated someplace, you can go to another.
Give me your promise! Give me your promise! Give me your promise! For workers! Unite and fight! For workers! Unite and fight! For workers! Unite and fight!
Because I'm a political figure. That's the story they gave.
That's right, you're the former mayor of
Well, and I was with the Socrat Party for 10 years as a provincial head, and it's the end of the berry business. When we're finished picking this year, we're disking our strawberries down. We're just going to mechanized crops, and to hell with them. We're not going to put up with this kind of baloney. They won't have jobs next year. That's what it boils down to. They can sit at home. They can stand here and scream till their horse. It's not going to make any difference.
And although we're poor, let them never forget that while they have money, we have time. And there's never, ever so relentless an enemy as time. That when the time comes you have to strike and boycott, we're ready to come and help you. We're ready to stay in the United States and help you boycott whatever products you're boycotting. And finally, we say, Viva la causa. And we want to say tonight, Sindabad. Canadian Farmworkers Union, thank you very much.
Now I'll ask our Vice President to say a few words. Jwala Singh had never spoken on any stage. He's a farm worker who worked in the fields very hard for many, many years. And I encouraged him, we all encouraged him that if he can do farm work, he can do the job too. Jwala Singh, how are you?
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਆਇਆ ਭਰਾਵਾਂ ਦਾ ਬੜਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਇੱਕ ਮੁੱਠ ਹੋਈਏ। ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਮੁੱਠ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਤੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਨਾ।
कहिए ये कैसे हुआ?
ਇਹ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੁਸ਼ਮਣੀ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ। ਜਦ ਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਜੂਨੀਅਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਣਿਆ ਇਹ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਈ ਜਾਂ ਠੇਕੇਦਾਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਫਾਰਮਾਂ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਡਰਾਉਣੇ ਦੇ ਲੀੜੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਡਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ। ਨਾ ਡਰਨਾ ਦੂਆ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਡਰਾਈ ਜਾਣਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਡਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਹੈ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ। ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਮੁੜਨ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ।
ये ठेकेदार जो हैं अपने ही लोग हैं तो क्यों करते हैं ऐसे?
ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਮੱਛ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਛੋਟੀਆਂ ਮੱਛਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਿਗਲ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ।
खेत में अभी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट तो नहीं मिला?
नहीं मिला।
तो फिर कैसे करेंगे आप?
कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पढ़ाएंगे जे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मिल गया फिर तो जूनियर जदे छेती कामयाब हो जाएगी। नहीं फिर पैकेट लेना ला के अक्सर नूं जिमें कैलिफोर्निया च बनी है उसे तक जदोजहद करके बनेगी। जूनियर नहीं छड़नी, जान बेशक चली जाए।
Recently, some of us have been receiving phone calls at the middle of night threatening our lives.
That means that you're being effective.
Very much so.
Yeah, and that's a good sign. Yes.
Did you get the argument that if there is a union, the prices will go up?
If workers get enough to eat, the less are going to cost them more, sure. But who would be against who would be against people not having enough to eat when it's going to cost you? Then we figure out about an eighth of a penny for a head of lettuce more to get what we were asking.
A lot of people are blaming the union for prices going up. Do you think that is wrong?
No. That's nothing. That's nothing. That to say that this is the biggest shot to say that like that. They laugh you go around like that. They laugh because they regulation everything. What you can do
in the food business?
Everything.
Who regulates the price of food?
Him.
Who's him?
Him. The biggest shot. The big businessman. The union is the first step. But after you got to watch the union too. Mm-hmm. If you go to the union, but if the union work nice, good, go straight. But after this guy here, buy the union too. That's all. You finish. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Food prices go up not because workers get high wages, but because the food chain stores want higher and higher profits. If you take a look at the profits of food chains, they have been in the millions of dollars. Did they share this profit with the worker? Did they reduce their prices to the consumer? We recognize that the farmers are facing some economic difficulties. They have to compete with produce from California, Florida, and other states. They are squeezed in by those who control the market. The multinational corporate agribusiness. And corporate agribusiness knows no respect for any worker, any consumer, or any country.
One of the biggest suppliers of Money's mushrooms is Jensen's Mushroom Farm, where the union has applied for its first official certification as a bargaining unit. Most of the workers are already union members, but Jensen is legally contesting the union's bid.
What are your views on a union in Jensen Farms?
Well, I think you're trying to get me in on something I don't like to give any.
You can't
no.
talk about it.
No. If you want any more on that, you should talk to our lawyer and see what he wants to tell. We're not forcing them to stay. If they don't like the work, they should quit it. They could walk out of here if they don't like it. They still have that choice.
Jensen has spent a lot of money on lawyers to challenge our certification bid. So I think we should just go around the room and each of you state what your major concern is. Okay. How about...
Okay, I'd talk a little bit about pesticides there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the names of them. I believe they've been banned for 2 years now, and I've talked to him, and he said he wants to use them up, and they've been banned because they're no good for your health.
Any time on a farm, there's certain times that you can be exposed to chemicals. On our farm here, the people who do fly spray and things like that wear protective gear, rain gear, respirator, you know.
We have one set of protective gear for everybody, and it's all ripped up, and it's well, it's worthless.
And the girls that pick the mushrooms, by the time they get into the houses, the chemical has completely worn down. How much there is, I wouldn't want to say, but it's very, very, very slight.
I asked them, what more do you want? And all they want is a contract, but...
Job security is what they want.
Yeah, job security.
And you can't offer that to them?
I think they can better offer that to themselves, because we have people here, there's good workers, and if they're good workers, they have security. We need them. But the one that's screwing up all the time, we got to have a way to get rid of them again.
Because there were no job security and people get fired. You can ask Rajendra.
They fired without any reason.
How many?
Without any notice. Lots of people.
And amongst the white workers, people were fired as well?
See, the majority of the people that is in the union is the pickers, because there's more pickers than there is white guys. So if they first get to the pickers, then the pickers they feel the pickers maybe break up from the union, and then us guys, well, you know, we gotta just go with the company.
They come out and say, well, you don't want to all East Indian unions and stuff like that, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, it's not. We're all working together, and that's the way it's going. He says, no, it's just all East Indian. Who's the president of that? He says, well, it's all East Indian. And I says, well, that's now, you know. They started it. That's good, you know.
They are dividing. Don't you think so?
In a way, I would say so, yeah. They're, you know, like Brad has been talking to Russell. So Russell says to me last week, he says, I don't want to join the union because I don't want to talk to somebody that's East Indian that can't even speak our language, you know. So.
Excuse me.
One time, me and Naseeb said that we want to make the union and we want to want the good pay, and the Brad threatened us that he kill us. He will kill us if we make the union. You know? We're not afraid.
I am against union workers. I've been farming for 14 years. I've never had a picker problem. I got a dog up there that'll back anybody off, if necessary. That's how strong I am against the union.
What's going on here?
We want what's owed to us, our wages.
Money? You'd let money come between us and the beautiful relationship we have? I see it now. You're one of these union bastards. Well, there's only one way to deal with animals like you. Get him, Charlie!
We're gonna
We're gonna roll the union on. What are we gonna do? We're gonna roll, we're gonna roll the union on. We're gonna roll the union on. Thank you.
Forced by demonstrations and petitions, the government introduces protective legislation for farm workers while continuing to deny them coverage under the existing Minimum Wage Act. But on the 18th of July, farm workers win a major victory when for the first time the Labor Relations Board recognizes the CFU as a certified bargaining unit at Jensen's mushroom farm. Contract negotiations begin and the union celebrates.
बाजरे मक्कियां चोना किरत मेरी ने पोरिया सोना मौल पवे जद बागड़ सारी अनत नांदा बरे भंडारा
It was Friday, July the 18th. We won our first certification and we were celebrating. And I was coming out with the other two Jensen mushroom workers. We were actually chanting slogans saying, Canadian Farmworkers Union is in the Bad. And we saw 4 people coming and they started saying to me, you fucking Hindu, let's get him, let's get this Hindu. And they started beating me up on the back. And I was fainted and fell on the ground. You know, they kept kicking me. And those Terry and Stuart Haig, if they weren't there, I would have been killed. They came over and helped me out.
And there was 2 guys on him, and they were kicking him in the face and in the head and in the stomach and throat. And he was literally knocked out, and he was falling towards the ground. And they still kept kicking at him.
I was unconscious. I don't know what happened after that. I don't know whether it's a racial attack or maybe because of the union.
Although the union has won certification on several farms, it is still without a contract. As management lawyers engage the union in endless negotiations, the living and working conditions of farm workers continue to bear testimony to the urgency of their cause. In a bunkhouse in the town of Clearbrook, a 7-month infant rolls off her bunk into a bucket of drinking water and drowns. The union's demands for daycare are ignored. On the 25th of July, while their parents work in a nearby field, 3 children, Sumandeep, Gurjeet, and Bhuta Singh, fall into an unprotected waterhole and are drowned.
Union is here! Canadian Farmworkers Union! Khed Mazdura! Khed Mazdura! Khed Mazdura! Union is here! People moving, please. We want!
ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਤਾਂ ਜੀਣੀ ਕੁੱਤਾ ਵੀ ਨਾ ਜੀਵੇ ਜੂਨੀਅਰ ਦੇ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਬਣੋ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਹਾਲਤ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਣੀ ਮਿਲੇਗਾ ਜੇ ਜੂਨੀਅਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਚੱਕਣ ਆਪਦੀਆਂ ਬੱਸਾਂ ਜੂਨੀਅਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਲਿਆਉਣ ਤਾਂ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਛੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੇਣ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਅੱਛਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਅੱਛੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਲਾਂਗੇ ਇਹ ਸਭ ਕਹਿੰਦੀਆਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਬਣਾ ਫਿਰ 100 ਮੈਂਬਰ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਫੋਟੋ ਲਈ ਆ ਇਹ ਹੱਥ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂਬਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਹੱਥ ਮੈਂ ਫੜਾ ਕੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਪੁੱਤ ਕੋਲ ਖੜਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਫੋਟੋ ਲਿਆ ਇਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਗੋਰੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਸੀਗੇ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਤੇ ਸਰੀ 'ਚ ਉੱਥੇ ਫੋਟੋ ਲਿਆ ਮੇਰੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੱਸੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਐਸਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਿਆ ਅੱਗੇ ਭਗਵਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਕਿਆ ਹੋਣਾ ਕਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ
ਸੁਣਿਆ ਵੇ ਇਹ ਤਰਤ ਹੈ ਕਹੀ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮਾਂ ਤੇ ਪੁੱਤ ਦਾ ਰਿਸ਼ਤਾ ਕੁਝ ਟੁਕੜੇ ਕੁਝ ਟਕਿਆਂ ਬਦਲੇ ਮਾਸ ਦੇ ਵਾਂਗੂ ਹੱਟੀਏ ਵਿਕਦਾ ਲੂਸ ਗਿਆ ਮਜ਼ਦੂਰ ਦਾ ਪਿੰਡਾ ਦੇਖ ਹਾਲ ਦਾ ਹੁੱਟ ਵੇ ਉੱਠਣ ਦਾ ਵੇਲਾ ਉੱਠ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਇੱਠ ਵੇ
After a year of negotiations, the union still has no contract at Jensen's mushroom farm. Strike and boycott actions appear to be the only alternative.
ਹਾੜੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਹਾੜੀਆਂ ਉਸੋਣੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਸਾਥੀਓ ਕਰ ਲਓ ਦਾਤੀਆਂ ਤਿਆਰ ਕਰ ਲਓ ਦਾਤੀਆਂ ਤਿਆਰ ਕਰ ਲਓ ਦਾਤੀਆਂ ਤਿਆਰ